thin water, if you will, and thin ice. And so I think that this is a moment that we really ought to capture as Democrats. And what we find is that the public, in a polling done by the League of Conservation Voters, that they don't just want a Band-Aid. Yes, of course, they want BP to pay. They want us to be very tough on the cleanup. But they would also like to see this moment to hold polluters responsible and to pass clean energy legislation.
Well, the clean energy legislation, such as it is, has passed a House a long time ago. In the Senate, conventional wisdom here in Washington is that passing an energy bill through the Senate is no more possible now, maybe even less possible now than it was before this disaster. And every time I come to Washington, I hear that as the common wisdom. I don't think it makes sense anywhere in America except within the Beltway here.
A number of things, yes.
Well, what I want you to tell me is that common wisdom is wrong, that the energy legislation can pass the Senate, and what all the pundits say is wrong. What do you think?
Well, actually, Harry Reid has said that it will be on the calendar in the next work period, that he wants to see a vote. We are hearing some talk from Republicans like Dick Lugar that it would be good, maybe not the full energy bill that we like, the one that we passed in the House, but something that sets us off in a new direction toward clean energy. And the other thing is, the 66% of the people who think we should do more, this is the moment, Rachel, that they need to be contacting members of Congress and senators particularly and saying, don't let this moment pass.
In the House, in your committee, hauling up Tony Hayward today and asking him a lot of questions, many of which he did not answer, professed an inability to answer, left me wondering what the next step is for your committee and your investigations.
Well, we are going to continue to look at, are there holes in our legislation and regulation that we need to fill? For example, taking off the legislative cap on liability for companies. What are those? Obviously, we have to do more enforcement and just more oversight. I think we have to make sure. We called in the rest of the oil companies and found out they don't have any plans either. Yeah. These are the kinds of things we need to do. But it was stunning to see Tony Hayward sit there and say over and over again things like, I was not involved in that decision. It's impossible for me to answer that question. I'm afraid I can't recall that. Finally, Henry Waxman had to say, did you read the letter we sent you that had the questions? What's the matter that you come here with nothing? So obviously we're going to have to sit on BP, despite this fund, to make sure they do what they're supposed to do.
Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky of Illinois from the Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations in the House. It was an incredible spectacle today. Thanks for joining us after to tell us how it went. Nice to see you.
Appreciate it.
Still ahead.
Watching the captains weave the long black boom as seamlessly as a professional ballet troupe performs an intricate dance, I found it difficult to believe that the rehearsals only started some weeks ago.
That is the BP oil disaster story as told by BP. Turns out when they tell it, it comes out so much nicer. Also later on this hour, a 5-minute attempt to eradicate the oldest, most appealing, and most baseless argument about energy in all of American politics.